Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and in today's video we will be dealing with the unit number 4 of the second semester, that is subject of theories of sociology, that deals with regarding the conflict theory given by three thinkers, Ralph Dahrendorf, Louis Coser and Randall Collins. So first we need to understand what exactly is conflict and where does it originate from. So we all are aware about the conflict theory given by Karl Marx. So it just expands on this theory, and all of these thinkers have done one thing is that they have expanded the conflict theory, that is class conflict theory given by Karl Marx, and conflict theory sees society as a battleground of power struggle. So what exactly this means, that when conflict happens, when two forces coincide with each other due to some reasons, it can be power is the main reason why conflict happens. There is a constant struggle for power, where we will always see in each thinker that power term is used. So when a certain person gains sovereignty, the other individual or other party also needs sovereignty, so this causes conflict. So if rich and middle class and poor class, if we talk about, similar to Karl Marx, so working class did class struggle because they needed authority which they didn't have at that time before. So again, this focuses on authority, that is, and disputes at micro level conflicts, so which include that from smaller level to larger level there is conflict. And first thinker is Ralph Dahrendorf, which conflict, it says that conflict arises from authority structures and not just economic class struggle. So what we have seen in Karl Marx is that he only talks about the class struggle that happens, but not just economic class struggles. There are also different forms of conflict that can be arise mainly from authority. So this is the point that Ralph Dahrendorf emphasizes. And society is divided into two, that is, first dominant and second is subordinate group. So he has furthermore classified that Karl Marx didn't, with regards to a dominant group, that is authority holders, and second is the subordinate groups who have authority but not as compared to the supreme authority. Then changes happens through institutional conflicts and not revolutions. So okay, what exactly this means, that a revolution not directly happens, it does not happen directly. First there is a conflict at an institutional level, after that it leads to revolution. Then imperatively coordinated associations structure conflicts within organizations. So when you go into the deep roots of an organization, you see that there is a system of bureaucracy. One person is sitting at the top who has the highest authority, and there are lower subordinates. Now the subordinate does not have the authority because he is accountable and he is attainable to his superior. So he thinks that he should also have more authority, which causes itself conflict. And in bureaucracies, I gave the example of bureaucracy in governments, corporations. This is where this authority and social conflict is seen together, and this leads to social change. So how this is related to social change, that when there is a conflict, it tends to change the structure of the society, which leads to social change. This was regarding Ralph Dahrendorf. Second, we will be seeing about Louis Coser, who talks about functional conflict. So he says that conflict can be functional and stabilizing for the society. That is, if conflict happens, it will stabilize the society, otherwise there will be problems created in the society. And he differentiated between realistic conflict and non-realistic conflict. These are the two important categories which he divided. First, realistic, which means that it is goal driven. So each thinker has given different ideas as to what conflict is. So Louis Coser has given the idea that he differentiated between one realist conflict, which means that you have a certain goal, that is goal driven, you want to achieve something, which is the reason why conflict takes place in the first place. Now non-realistic conflict is emotional driven. So if you fight with someone, the conflict is emotionally driven, but when you have certain objective behind that, it is goal driven. This is a slight difference between realistic and non-realistic conflict. And there are frequent minor conflicts to prevent a major destructive clashes. So when small conflicts takes place in an organization, in a society, it prevents major destructive clashes in the society, and it strengthens the group unity by reinforcing social boundaries. So when at each interval of time certain conflict, functional conflict takes place, then it automatically strengthens the group unity, because again, when conflict happens, there is a social change and it leads to the unity. Then it helps the society to adapt internal tensions rather than collapse. So when we take an example of regional conflict or religious conflict or conflict regarding anything, if that conflict does not happen, it will lead to larger destruction future on, because then two ideas will not get to interfere with each other, they will not get to know each other. So therefore conflict is essential for negotiation process and social balance. This was all regarding Louis Coser. Next thinker we have is Randall Collins. Now he talks about the micro level struggles, which is at the lowest or smallest level, that is not large structural conflicts that the other two thinkers talk about, but rather a very small level conflicts. So he says that conflict is embedded in everyday social interactions and power dynamics. So you have, even when you look at college or any other place, you have your juniors, you have your seniors, there is certain conflict going on between them. This is a micro level conflict, not at a larger scale where in a social institution or any other organization, but rather at the very smallest stage, that is micro level struggles. Then interaction ritual chains shape emotions, status and group up. So the very smallest bit, that is emotional conflicts, conflict regarding status, smallest amount of conflict, that is micro level struggles, Randall Collins is talking about. Then it emerges, the social conflicts emerges in workplaces, classrooms and personal relationships. This I have already discussed, and it is driven by emotion, that is competition between each other. This leads to conflict. And small scale interactions reinforce larger hierarchies and inequalities. So he is talking about that how these small conflicts can also lead to larger social hierarchies. Okay, so what is the comparison between all of these theories together is that what Karl Marx did was only talk about a class struggle. He talked about class conflict between different classes of society which are divided on the basis of social stratification. But what these three thinkers have done is expanded the scope and given it a multi-dimensional view as to what exactly conflict means. So this was all regarding the conflict theory given by our three thinkers. And lastly, the conclusion part, that power struggles are there, different types of conflicts existing in society. It is not a narrow perspective, it is a very large perspective, and it covers a lot of things which Karl Marx failed to describe in his theory of conflicts. So this was all regarding the unit 4 of the theories of sociology, that is regarding conflict theory, and this PPT will also be provided in the description. Thank you so much.